What is up, good people? Jungle Link here, hope you're doing well. There's this really goofy rumor going around today that BlackRock, they're going to pivot. They're going to pivot from Bitcoin, and the apple of their eye is now XRP. It's amazing how stupid stuff like this can gain traction. There would be no reason for this to take place, and it just isn't. It's someone threw it out there and it's making the rounds. Just ignore stuff like this. You should be able to sniff it out instantly. Now, there's a lot of debate going on right now. What's the future of XRP? And the great thing with the decentralized network is no individual gets to decide that. I just want to give you my opinion on the way I see things going. Personally, I don't think a bunch of D-apps and complications going on the XRP ledger, the mainnet, is going to be the ticket. With that comes a lot of costs, and I think you'll strip away the attributes that make XRP great. What I do think is going to happen is we are going to see significant stable coins like USDC, maybe even Tether, issued on the ledger. And that's going to be the premier way to send stablecoin value, because you're going to get that implemented on exchanges, so there's liquidity, and you're going to be able to send USDC dollars anywhere in the globe in 3 seconds at almost no cost. This is going to be the way to transact in stablecoins. It's going to be massive. You add in their AMMs, and you're going to have deep and liquid markets directly on the XRP ledger, where you're going to be trading XRP, USD, and I think there will be issued assets by major players like Coinbase and whatever other exchanges are out there, where you can trade Bitcoin and Ethereum and all sorts of other assets directly on the ledger, maybe gold. Very similar to the way we work with GateHub right now and issued assets on the ledger, but no one really wants to deal with GateHub. It's inconvenient. Unless you're an XRP, goofball like myself, you don't want to deal with GateHub. What's that all about? But if you're already trading on Coinbase or Kraken or one of these other exchanges, now it's much more seamless, and you could do all your trades in a decentralized manner, but easily pull that value off, especially if there's a stable coin, and put it on your exchange of choice when you want to cash out. It's going to be rocking. We're going to see tons of trade. Now, is this the same as if you're trading ERC20s on Uniswap and things like this? No, because there is some counterparty risk there, but there's also a lot of advantages, and you don't want to be the same as everyone else. You want to have novel advantages that separate you from your competition, and I think this type of mixture will work very well. A lot of people would use that type of DEX without thinking twice. It's all about who's issuing the asset there on the ledger. So I think if we add stable coins, you already have XRP, very liquid, very popular, and then of course you have some issued assets and AMM capabilities, it's gonna be a rockin' place to trade value of all kinds. And that's the point. You can load up anything into the ledger and trade it and send it, and it's going to be massive. To me, that's the game plan forward for XRP. All of this value trading through XRP itself as the native asset on the ledger. And then again, you're going to have all of these integrated on and off ramps with, again, Coinbases and Binances and all your big exchanges out there. Well, maybe Binance. We'll have to get back to that. But you know what I'm saying. Now, this doesn't mean you have to concede smart contracts and DeFi apps and all of that. Do that stuff on side chains. It can link up to the main chain and leverage its liquidity and its trading value and all of that. But I think that's really going to be the way we move forward. I don't believe that if you bring on complicated applications, even if you're using hooks, and I understand it's light smart contract and it's not the same type of thing you're doing with Ethereum, but I think it's just going to be too heavy to keep XRP great at what it does. Unfortunately, I'm not king of XRP. I don't get to make these decisions. So we'll have to see how it plays out. But that's what I think is going to be the direction. Implementation of serious stablecoins, AMMs, and issued assets by major players in this space. That's going to be your ticket here for XRP to continue to grow and really show value. Today it was announced that the SEC is claiming, at least, that Binance are not cooperating with the investigation. The SEC said in a court filing that Binance has produced about 220 documents, which is nothing for a case of this size, and that the documents are essentially unlegible screenshots without dates or signatures, just not any kind of official documentation. This is what you got to be careful with. I know we are all adversarial versus regulators, but they're not always going to be wrong. They're not always the bad guy. So we have to ask ourselves, is something going on with Binance? I hear so many people say, oh, it's just FUD. It's just an attack on crypto. I ask you to think back. Think back to Catherine Cooley, CEO of Binance, who disappeared from the face of the frickin' earth. We haven't heard from her in I don't know how long. What's going on with that? You had Brian Armstrong. The guy was there for a couple weeks, and he's like, I'm out of here. What did he see? What was going on behind the scenes? Why would he give up that job? You have the current CEO, Brian Schroeder, that just resigned, and a whole mess of executives, both from Binance US and the international conglomerate. They're running for the hills. Mark Fagel said, look, he can only speculate. He doesn't know anything. Is it that the company is in financial trouble? That ain't good. Or is it that there's something serious, some criminal investigation underway? I would guess both, to be honest with you. This ain't a good sign. If this was just a run-of-the-mill SEC lawsuit, maybe the CEOs could get into some trouble. We saw that with Ripple, where Chris and Brad had some personal liability there, or possible personal liability. Even that is wildly aggressive. But outside of that, why are executives giving away good-paying jobs? Why would you do that? Most people want to keep drawing those paychecks. Is Binance running out of money, not paying people? Or do they know the hammer's coming and something really shady is under the hood here? And again, it doesn't have to be one or the other. It could be both. And I suspect it's going to be pretty bad here. And I think what we're going to see is the DOJ jump in, and that's totally different than the SEC. Like, with the money that Binance should have, the SEC should not be a big problem for them, especially for their international conglomerate. They should be able to swat them away. The DOJ's coming, man. And that's what's going to bring the hammer down, I believe, on this enterprise. You can call it FUD, whatever you want. I'm just telling you, be ready, because it can get nasty. And they are so big, man. This is going to be like an atomic bomb. Not the end of the world, right? We'll get by it, but it can be nasty in the short term. Be careful, especially you got leverage right now, or you got a bunch of money parked on Binance because you think you are, safe as you know what. The retort is always, we've always been able to meet withdrawals. There's never been a liquidity problem. Same thing that Alex Mashinsky said. There never is a problem until there is, and that's the end of the road. That's like the final thing when you can't meet withdrawals. Like, that's not an indicator of everything's okay. I'm not telling you panic that something's going to happen for sure, but understand this is bigger than FUD. Probably, something's coming down and quick. The SEC also added on, there's been multiple requests for documents. And Binance will respond, there is no such document, or that doesn't exist, and then they get it from another party. This is not good, if this is true. We all understand how the SEC can twist and turn information and try to make you look like the bad guy. I'm not saying that isn't true, but be careful. Doesn't mean that there isn't substance here. Yes, they do go after some people that are on the wrong side of the law. They do good work sometimes, and this might be one of those times. I recently ran a poll, and I said, you know what, we have this FTX bankruptcy. They're going to be selling maybe 100 million in crypto a week. Is this going to have any effect on crypto asset prices? 70% said no, that it's not going to affect anything, and it's already baked in essentially to the price. And I would agree with that to an extent. The problem is this. We do not know all of the inputs here. What will the market status be in a week, a month, a half a year from now? It just all depends. And what will be this bankruptcy's estate, willingness to continue to sell if things go bad? See, it could have a bigger effect than we could possibly know right now, because we just can't know all of the inputs at this point in time. If Binance was to blow up tomorrow and the market's tumbling, are they still going to pump a bunch of crypto into the market here and try to liquidate as much as they can? It can have a compounding effect. It's not a nothing. It's just not necessarily going to be on its own right a guaranteed, thing to sink the market. Be careful always discounting everything is already baked into the price. Now, big news today, Japan is going to allow startups to raise funds by issuing crypto instead of stocks. According to local media, this updated system is specifically applicable to a category of funds known as investment business limited partnerships. I don't know all the specifics here. Is there a certain size of startup you got to be? Things like that. Is there going to be any reporting attached? We don't know everything yet, but I think it's very interesting. Using crypto technology in novel ways and raising funds is one of the great ways you can use this. And it's very transparent, and you can see, how much money is being raised and where is it flowing to. And if done right, this type of system could be really, really game changing. And it could open up, capital to a lot of people that didn't have access before. Lastly, I see this report, Bitcoin price will reach all-time high before the 2024 halving. And absolutely could happen. I'm not saying it won't. I just hear a lot of people saying it has to happen, that prices have to go up from here because we are too close to the halving and all sorts of other events. And I would just caution you from that, idea that it has to happen. We saw last time around, the price crashed directly into the halving. Now, yes, we had a pandemic, and that's a different issue, but there could be something else this time around, whether, again, it's Binance blowing up or, any number of things, a stock market crash. Like, nothing has to happen, just like it doesn't have to repeat this time around where we have a crash before the halving. Use these types of, indicators as guides, is rough places to aim for, but it's not guaranteed. There is no such thing in this game. That's why we get the returns that we do. Have the long-term vision, invest in value. We will do well. That we know with a long-term horizon. But the problem is, guarantees, things have to happen. They've happened like that in the past. Throw all that stuff out the window. I would guess currently we have more things that could drive us down a bit from here than send us directly to the moon. What am I going to do? I don't want to end up on the sidelines with no money in crypto. I got to be ready to take a beating, but I'm darn sure ready to deploy more capital if times get really rough. So just pace yourself. This is a journey. This is an epic journey, but we're getting close. I feel like 2024, 2025, things could get really exciting. We're making our way there, but again, this ain't a sprint. Make sure you pace yourself and we'll do well. Let me know what you think down below. And as always, please like, please subscribe. The revolution will be televised right here on Jungle Link.